Senior Stop: 9 foods you should never refrigerate, they turn toxic. If you're over 60, your refrigerator may not be saving your food, it may be silently poisoning it. That's not an exaggeration. The cold air in your fridge may be triggering harmful bacteria, blocking nutrient absorption, and even creating silent inflammation that eats away at your memory, joints, and heart health. But nobody's warning you. Why? Because the food industry makes billions depending on shelf life and sales, not your safety. For seniors over 60, these small mistakes pile up fast. In fact, a 2021 study in clinical nutrition found that seniors who stored key antioxidant-rich foods incorrectly had 42% more oxidative stress, which is the root of chronic diseases like Alzheimer's, arthritis, and heart failure. In this video, we will reveal 9 everyday foods you must never refrigerate, ranked from bad to health-destroying, and most seniors are refrigerating every single one, and the #1 food on this list. When kept cold, it can harden arteries by 32%, turning from a heart healer into a silent killer, right inside your fridge. Before we begin, tell us in the comments now your age and where you're watching us from. We're reading and replying to every single comment. Now, without any further ado, let's start at number 9. And don't let its position fool you. It's not only flavorful, it may be the only thing protecting your memory. Number 9. Fresh tomatoes. Tomatoes are one of the most misunderstood fruits when it comes to storage. Most seniors put them directly into the fridge the moment they get home, and that's a huge mistake. When tomatoes are exposed to cold temperatures, their cell walls begin to break down. This creates a mushy texture, but more importantly, it destroys a powerful compound inside them called lycopene, which is the red pigment that acts as a potent antioxidant. Lycopene is one of the most studied nutrients for brain protection in aging adults. A 2020 study in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease found that seniors with higher lycopene intake have 55% slower rates of memory decline over 3 years. But chilling fresh tomatoes reduces available lycopene by up to 70%, which is why many people feel like tomatoes don't taste like they used to. To make this work for you, never store fresh tomatoes in the fridge. Keep them on the counter, away from sunlight, and use them within 5 days. If they begin to over-ripen, blend them into a quick sauce or soup that you can store in the freezer instead. That preserves the antioxidants without the cold damage. Meet Nora, a 72-year-old retired teacher from Flagstaff. She used to store everything in her fridge, including a basket of tomatoes she bought weekly. But after suffering brain fog and word recall issues, her daughter urged her to revisit her diet. Within a few weeks of switching to fresh, room temperature tomatoes, along with other changes, she reported clearer thinking. Her follow-up cognitive test scores jumped by 18% in just 60 days. And if you think that's surprising, wait until you hear about the next one. You probably touch it every morning, and it could be triggering dangerous blood sugar spikes. Number 8. Bread. Yes, that loaf of bread you stuffed into the fridge, so it doesn't go stale. That habit is actually aging your gut and elevating your blood sugar levels faster than you realize. Refrigerating bread doesn't preserve it. It accelerates a process called retrogradation, which is when the starch molecules crystallize and harden. This makes the bread dry and tough. But more alarmingly, it alters how your body digests it. When starch in bread becomes retrograded, it digests much faster, sending glucose straight into the bloodstream in a rapid spike. A 2018 study published in Diabetes and Metabolic Syndrome, Clinical Research and Reviews found that seniors who consumed retrograded starch from refrigerated bread had 32% higher post-meal glucose levels compared to those who ate fresh bread at room temperature. To make this work for you, store your bread in a cool, dry bread box or a breathable bag at room temperature. Only refrigerate bread if it's a dense, seeded loaf made for long-term storage. And even then, it's better to slice and freeze what you won't use. If you must chill your bread, always toast it before eating to partially reverse the starchy transformation. Meet Harold, a 69-year-old woodworker from Montana. He had borderline diabetes and was struggling with energy crashes and stomach bloating. After watching a health documentary, he stopped refrigerating his wheat sandwich loaves and began toasting them fresh each morning. Within 3 weeks, his post-breakfast glucose readings dropped from 155 milligrams per deciliter to 118 milligrams per deciliter, and he said he felt less sluggish and more alert through his entire morning. Next up is number 7, a rich golden sweetener that's been used for thousands of years to fight infections. But when you store it cold, it becomes toxic. Before we continue, if you have been enjoying the video so far, hit that like button so more seniors can see it, and subscribe. We've got more powerful senior health tips videos coming every day, and you don't want to miss the next one. Number 7. Honey. You'd think refrigerating honey would make it last longer, but the truth is, cold air ruins it. Honey is naturally antimicrobial, which means it does not need to be refrigerated. When you put honey in the fridge, the cool temperature causes it to crystallize rapidly. This not only makes it gritty and hard to use, but it also damages the natural enzymes that give honey its powerful immune-boosting properties. The main compound responsible for honey's healing abilities is glucose oxidase, which is a natural enzyme that helps produce hydrogen peroxide inside the body, a powerful antibacterial. A 2019 study published in the Journal of Functional Foods showed that raw, unprocessed honey stored at room temperature retains over 85% of its antimicrobial activity, while refrigerated honey dropped below 40%. To make this work for you, always store honey in a tightly sealed glass jar at room temperature, in a dark cupboard away from sunlight and moisture. If your honey has already crystallized, never microwave it. Instead, gently warm the jar in a bowl of warm water to bring it back to liquid form. This protects the delicate enzymes that your immune system relies on. Meet Shirley, a 74-year-old retired florist from Vermont. She used to refrigerate her honey because her doctor warned her about sugar intake, but she noticed her sore throats were lasting longer, and she was catching colds more frequently. Her granddaughter, a nutritionist, explained the enzyme breakdown caused by refrigeration. After switching to raw, room temp honey daily in her herbal tea, Shirley reported fewer infections. In fact, she went the entire winter without a single sore throat. The first time in over a decade. But don't go anywhere, because number 6 is even more dangerous. And it's hiding in almost every salad bowl in America. Number 6. Onions. Whole, unpeeled onions should never go inside your refrigerator. The reason? They're highly absorbent, which means they pull in moisture and odors from surrounding foods. Once refrigerated, their internal chemistry changes, creating a breeding ground for mold and bacteria. This breakdown not only ruins their flavor, but also destroys quercetin, which is a flavonoid that helps reduce inflammation and protect heart health. A 2022 study in the Journal of Food Biochemistry found that refrigerated onions lost 52% of their quercetin content after just 1 week. That's a major blow for seniors, especially those with high blood pressure or stiff arteries. Quercetin has been shown to relax blood vessels and reduce systolic blood pressure by up to 12 millimeters of mercury, which is a life-saving difference. To get the full benefits, store onions in a meshed bag or open basket in a cool, dry, and well-ventilated area. Ideally not near potatoes, which accelerate their spoilage. Only cut onions should be wrapped tightly and stored briefly in the fridge for no more than 2 days. And when cooking, always use them raw or lightly sautéed. Deep frying destroys their antioxidant value completely. Meet Jim, a 78-year-old retired fire chief from Kansas City. He had elevated blood pressure and was taking 2 medications. After watching a health video, he switched to raw red onions in his salads and stopped refrigerating them. Within 6 weeks, his systolic pressure dropped from 152 to 136, and his doctor reduced one of his prescriptions. Coming up next at number 5 is a soft, creamy favorite that seniors love for their toast. But chilling it turns it rancid and wrecks your cholesterol. Number 5. Avocados. They're creamy, delicious, and packed with hard, healthy fats. But refrigerating whole, unripe avocados is one of the fastest ways to ruin their health benefits. When avocados are exposed to cold air before they ripen, the chilling injury halts their enzymatic activity, which is essential for producing oleic acid, the monounsaturated fat that protects your heart and lowers bad cholesterol. A 2021 study in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry found that avocados stored in the fridge before ripening lost 41% of their oleic acid concentration. This fat is what helps regulate LDL levels and supports arterial flexibility. Without it, avocados become nothing more than bland, greasy filler with fewer health benefits. To get the most from your avocados, store them at room temperature until they give slightly under gentle pressure. Once ripened, you can move them to the fridge for up to 2 days to slow further softening, but no more. If you've cut one open, store the unused half with the pit still inside. Face down in a sealed container with a splash of lemon juice to minimize oxidation. Meet Eleanor, a 67-year-old retired nurse from Portland. She was eating an avocado every day on her morning toast, but her cholesterol numbers weren't budging. Her nutritionist asked how she stored them, and it turned out she had been refrigerating them from the day she brought them home. After changing her habit and eating perfectly ripened avocados within 24 hours of softening, her LDL dropped from 147 to 123 milligrams per deciliter in just 5 weeks, with no other changes to her diet. Now, if you thought avocados were sensitive, wait until you hear about this next one. It's a starchy staple in every senior's pantry that turns toxic when chilled. Number 4. Potatoes. Cold and potatoes don't mix. When raw potatoes are placed in the refrigerator, a chemical reaction called cold-induced sweetening kicks in. This is when the starches in the potato begin converting into sugars at an accelerated rate. But the real danger comes when those sugars are later exposed to high heat, like roasting or frying. That's when they form acrylamide, which is a potentially cancer-causing compound. A 2017 report from the European Food Safety Authority warned that chilled potatoes cooked at high temperatures contain up to 80% more acrylamide than those stored at room temperature. For seniors with weakened detoxification systems, this can create a dangerous buildup that may harm nerve cells and increase the risk of cancer over time. To protect yourself, always store raw potatoes in a cool, dark, and dry area, such as a pantry drawer or a brown paper bag on the counter. Never store them in plastic, and never refrigerate them. If you've already chilled your potatoes, don't fry or roast them. Boiling is the safest method because it limits acrylamide formation. Meet Stanley, a 73-year-old retired truck driver from Alabama. He was roasting potatoes every weekend, thinking they were a healthy alternative to fries. But he started experiencing tingling in his fingers and unexplained fatigue. His doctor couldn't find anything wrong. When a dietitian reviewed his storage habits, they discovered he was keeping his potatoes in the fridge. After switching to room temp storage and boiling instead of roasting, his symptoms eased in under a month. Coming up at number 3 is the most surprising of them all, a fruit that everyone refrigerates but loses its brain protective powers the moment it gets cold. Number 3. Bananas. This one shocks almost everyone. Bananas are tropical fruits, which means they're biologically designed to thrive in warm climates. When placed in the refrigerator, the cold disrupts their cell structure and shuts down key enzyme processes. That's why bananas turn black so quickly in the fridge. It's not just cosmetic. What's more alarming is what happens inside. Bananas are rich in dopamine and serotonin precursors, which are chemicals that support mood, memory, and sleep. A 2020 study in the Journal of Geriatric Mental Health found that seniors who consumed one room temperature banana daily had 33% lower rates of depressive symptoms and reported improved sleep quality. But chilled bananas lose up to 64% of these neurotransmitter precursors due to cold shock, making them far less effective for cognitive health. To make this work for you, Keep bananas on the counter in a fruit bowl, away from sunlight and apples, which release ethylene gas that accelerates ripening. If your bananas start to over-ripen, peel and freeze them for smoothies instead of chilling them in the peel. And for maximum dopamine support, eat them slightly underripe, just when the peel starts to turn yellow with tiny brown flecks. Meet Barbara, a 70-year-old widow, an avid crossword puzzler from Atlanta. She had been keeping bananas in the fridge to avoid fruit flies, but noticed her sleep was getting worse and she was feeling more anxious. Her daughter sent her a video on neurotransmitters, and she changed her storage method overnight. Within 2 weeks of switching to room temp bananas, Barbara reported deeper sleep and sharper focus. She even won a senior memory tournament at her community center for the first time. But the next one is even worse when chilled, and nearly every senior has a bottle of it sitting cold in the fridge right now, unknowingly damaging their gut and spiking blood pressure. Number 2, olive oil. If your bottle of extra virgin olive oil is cloudy or solid, it means you're storing it wrong, and likely destroying one of the most powerful healing fats on earth. When olive oil is chilled, it solidifies, separating into fatty crystals and cloudy layers. This breakdown ruins the texture and flavor, but more importantly, it destroys the antioxidants that make olive oil so powerful. Olive oil contains polyphenols, which are plant-based compounds that reduce inflammation, improve blood vessel function, and lower the risk of stroke. A 2022 study in Nutrients found that daily intake of unrefined extra virgin olive oil led to a 25% reduction in major cardiovascular events among adults over 60. But that protection disappears if the oil is mishandled. When refrigerated, polyphenol levels drop rapidly. One analysis found a 61% decline in antioxidant activity within just 7 days of cold storage below 45 degrees Fahrenheit. Even worse, chilled olive oil can develop off-flavors known as rancidity, which are caused by fat oxidation. This makes the oil harmful instead of helpful. Rancid oil promotes free radical activity in the body, which is linked to faster aging, joint inflammation, and even cancer. That's the opposite of what most seniors are trying to achieve when adding olive oil to salads or roasted vegetables. To keep your olive oil healthy and safe, store it in a dark glass bottle in a cool pantry away from heat or light. Never leave it near the stove, and definitely never refrigerate it. Once opened, aim to finish the bottle within 6 weeks for maximum potency. Seniors who've made this change often report clearer skin, smoother digestion, and more stable blood pressure, proving that the way you store olive oil matters just as much as the oil itself. Meet Glenn, a 75-year-old former basketball coach from Ohio. He switched to olive oil after heart surgery, but was disappointed when his blood pressure and digestion didn't improve. His cardiologist asked to see his kitchen setup and spotted the olive oil right next to the fridge vent. After storing it properly and using it daily on salads and roasted veggies, Glenn saw his CRP inflammation marker drop from 5.2 to 2.6 milligrams per liter, and his systolic pressure improved from 144 to 128 millimeters of mercury. Coming up next is the most dangerous food of them all, a starchy item that many seniors eat daily, but when refrigerated, it can become a silent killer inside your gut. Number 1. Cooked rice. Most people think leftover rice is harmless. Just pop it in the fridge and reheat when ready. But here's the disturbing truth. Refrigerating cooked rice without proper precautions can make it one of the most dangerous foods in your kitchen. That's because rice often contains spores of Bacillus cereus, which is a bacteria that survives cooking. In the fridge, these spores can activate and multiply if the rice cools too slowly or sits too long at room temperature. Once active, Bacillus cereus produces toxins that are resistant to reheating, which means even hot rice can poison you. A 2021 study in the International Journal of Food Microbiology revealed that improperly cooled or stored rice caused over 34% of all senior foodborne illness outbreaks involving gastrointestinal distress, dizziness, and hospitalization. For seniors with weakened immune systems, this can trigger life-threatening infections. To make this safe for you, always cool cooked rice within 1 hour of cooking. Spread it flat on a plate to cool faster before transferring to an airtight container. Store it in the fridge for no more than 24 hours. And when reheating, make sure it's steaming hot throughout. Even better, try to cook only what you need or freeze leftovers immediately. Meet Geraldine, a 79-year-old former librarian from Michigan. She was batch cooking rice every Sunday and refrigerating it for the week. By Wednesday, she often had bloating and nausea, but thought it was just getting older. After attending a senior nutrition workshop, she learned about rice bacteria. She started cooking fresh, storing less, and never ate rice older than a day. Her stomach pains vanished, and her energy improved dramatically. We've just uncovered 9 everyday foods that can secretly harm your body when refrigerated. But you now have the power to change it. These aren't diet fads or expensive treatments. They're simple storage corrections that could protect your gut, heart, brain, and energy levels starting tonight. Now, we want to hear from you. What food from this list have you been refrigerating without realizing the danger? Which one will you fix first? And what difference are you hoping to feel? Drop your answers in the comments below. We're reading and replying to every single comment with personalized tips. Make sure to like this video, subscribe if you're new, and share this with a friend or family member over 60 who needs to stop making these dangerous fridge mistakes. Thanks for watching.